Hi guys. So I'm just going to wait for a couple more people to join and we'll start. Hi Christabel. So I'm just going to wait for a couple more people and then we'll start. If you find me looking down, please, I'm in my laptop. I'm just checking a few questions. Okay. Hi Adebisi. Hi everyone. So in case you are new here and you don't know what this live is about, today I'm going to be speaking with Braiden International Consultancy. So it's a consultancy group. Basically, they deal with immigration services for foreigners here in Russia. And we are going to be talking about how to get your resident permit as a foreigner here in Russia. So regardless of your nationality, regardless of let's say how many years you've spent here, I know that matters, okay, but regardless of where you are, even if you're in your bachelor's, master's, you are here, to start a family and other good stuff. Today we are going to be talking about everything. So in about 2 minutes, I'm going to invite Daniel Olarewaju. So Daniel is the leading specialist for the international department of Braiden's International. So he's the one in charge of dealing with international clients, so foreign clients like me and you. I'm really interested in today's session because this is something that I believe is on almost everybody's mind. I mean, if you're a foreigner here, you definitely start thinking of probably getting a PR. What actually does it entail? What does it look like? And all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Also, this session is going to be recorded, so you get a replay. Just in case you're not able to make the live or you had to leave at some point, you'd be able to go back and get your answers, get your answers to the questions that you have. Also, I asked that I asked that people should drop their questions, okay, for any questions they have regarding permanent residency, legalizing your immigration status here in Russia. And I received a couple as well. So, yeah, okay. Accept. Hi, Daniel.
Yeah, hi, hello Joyce. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So, Daniel, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Temidayo Daniel Olanrewaju, and I'm a specialist in Braiden Consulting law firm. So basically, I'm the Department of International Department. So I handle the African clients for them.
All right.
And all right, that's
Okay,
all.
so can you give us a brief about Braiden?
Okay, in Braiden Consulting is a Russian law firm. We deal
All
with
right.
business, like if you want to establish business in Russia, and we also give legal support for foreigners for maybe immigration purpose. If they are willing to get a residence permit, they want to relocate to Russia with their family. So basically, anything about civil law, we deal with them in Russia, in Braiden Consulting.
That's great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so I'll just go straight into the questions that I've received and the questions that I believe most people would have concerning immigration or legalizing their immigration status here in Russia. So the first question I received says, 1 second, I just want to access that. Okay, so this person asked, how quickly after entering the Russia Federation can I apply for a residence permit? Also, what are the requirements? So basically, I think this is a good way to start. What are the
Exactly.
requirements, to actually apply for a permanent resident permit? Permanent
Okay.
resident permit, yeah.
All right. So you see, in Russia, when you're dealing with the immigration situation in Russia, the most important thing is your legal ground.
Okay.
What are you coming to do in Russia? Because this is what we are going to use to get your document. You can't just say you're coming to Russia for nothing. You must have a reason for coming to Russia. So if you actually come to Russia maybe as a student, you must have lived for like 2-3 years before
Okay.
applying. Yeah. And basically for students now, if students actually graduate with a red diploma, I mean with honor,
Yeah.
they are automatically eligible to obtain a permanent residence permit in Russia. So if you are coming to Russia, your legal ground determines what documents you will have. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the other requirements? If you're, let's say, your legal ground, I'm going to be posting and pinning question answers rather
Yeah,
to
sure.
some questions. So yeah, for your PR, you must have lived for about 2 to 3 years in Russia before you even go about that. So I think this answers this person question saying, how soon can I start, processing my permanent residency, after my entrance into Russia? So the answer is 2 to 3 years. You must have lived for two
Yeah.
to three years.
So that's 2 to 3 years is those the maximum, for you
Okay.
to be sure that if you apply, they will not reject your
Reject it.
application.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe if you come to Russia now in less than a year, you're already applying for permanent residence permit, they might reject it. But if you have
Yeah.
lived for like 2-3 years, definitely you can just apply. Yeah.
All right. So the next question says, can a master's student apply for PR after graduation in Russia?
Yes, definitely, but it depends on the student's results.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, if a student actually graduated with a red diploma, like with honor, known as red diploma in Russia,
Yeah.
such student, according to the new law now, is fully eligible to obtain permanent residence permits right away in a very simplified manner. The only major requirement is that such student needs a good uh, legal partners. I mean, a good law firm to handle his documents, for submission in Sakharova because things are very complicated there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Moscow, by the way. For
yeah.
people that don't know where he's talking about, that's the Moscow. So
So,
another question I would like to ask is, do you think that the process to obtain your permanent residency, it depends on what area you are in Russia? Okay, so for example, let's say you're staying in the north, you think it's going to be easier for you to obtain it than if you're staying in the center here?
okay, if I'm to comment about that, though your regions actually determines the probability of having the document.
Okay.
And to complete my answer to that, your first question about master students obtaining residence permits, master students without red diploma can also apply for temporary residence permits through quota.
How about the
You know,
bachelors? So like bachelors
the
without
same thing, yes,
same
yes.
thing.
The same thing applies to bachelors too. If you have completed your education in Russia, and you have some basic knowledge of Russian language, you can apply for quota. So when you have this quota, then you can now apply for temporary residence permits. But if you have graduated and you have a red diploma, I mean you graduated with honor, so you are fully eligible for this permanent residence in Russia. So talking about regions, the influence of being in different regions in
Yeah.
Russia. Okay, for instance, now quota. If you're applying for quota in Moscow, it will be way difficult. Like it will be very difficult. But
Yeah.
if you're applying for quota in some less developed states in
Like
Russia,
Arkangelsk
like yeah,
in the
some
north.
Saratov,
Yeah.
Tambov, all those little cities, yeah, you will have some privilege to actually have it there because the quota assigned to Moscow I think every year is around 2040.
Mm-hmm.
2040. And before the quota even arrived, they've already,
Taking it.
applicants are already queuing up for it.
Yeah.
So basically that's it. Regions actually determines the sources of having the document.
All right, guys. Please, if you like to ask a question, I would advise that you drop it in the question box so that it doesn't get missing in the chat, because I can see someone asked the question already. But before we go to this question, I think we should have done this first. So, like, what actually does a temporary residence permit and a permanent residency permit gives you? What's the word? What's the advantage? One, or what can you do with it? What does it offer you? Yes, that's the word. What does a temporary residence permit and a permanent resident permit offer you here as a foreigner in Russia? So you can start with TRP and then we go to PR.
Yeah. So talking about firstly the temporary residence permit, we must actually understand the difference between all these documents.
Yeah.
Temporary residence permit is just like a 3 years legality in Russia. They give you 3 years it's just valid for like 3 years basically.
Yeah.
So and the major difference why it is different from business visa, because business visa or student visa, is that this temporary residence permit is the very first stage of having citizenship in Russia.
Okay.
Because if you have this temporary residence permit, after living with it for like 8 months, you can immediately proceed to obtain your permanent residence permit.
Your PR.
Yeah, I know what you want to say, VNJ.
Yeah.
So after living with it for like 8 months, you can just go apply for it for the permanent residence permit. So before, at least if you are given like 3 years to with it, and after 8 months you can apply for it, and before let's say at the end of 5 months, 5th month of application, you can actually have the permanent residence permit. Yeah. So the advantage of this temporary residence permit is like you have the semi provisions of being a citizen in Russia. Yeah, like you will have access to some basic
I think,
services.
health insurance, you get free health insurance.
Of course. I will still read there.
Okay.
You have your medical insurance. Those are the things I mean by good services through Gososloge.
Yeah.
Do you know about this Gososloge?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. There are a lot of restrictions there. But if you have the temporary residence permit or citizenship, you will have access to almost all of these things. Like exiting and coming into Russia without visa. You don't have to extend visa or bother about anything again. So basically, the advantages are quite, a lot. There are a lot of advantages to it.
So what's the major difference between TRP, that's temporary resident permit, and permanent resident permit?
Okay, TRP, the temporary residence permit, is just a stamp on your passport.
Okay.
Maybe, if you're in Nigeria now, you only have the stamp on your passport with the validity there.
Yeah,
but
3 years validity.
But the permanent residence permit is a blue passport. It's in form of a booklet.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are 2 types to it. There is one that you can use for the rest of your life. If you like, you can apply for the citizenship. If you like, you may not apply for it. Right? There are some that you just have to use for like 3 years.
And you have to reapply.
Though it is permanent, but you can be extending it.
Renewing it.
Yeah. So the one that you can actually be renewing every 3 years is the one that you actually obtain through HQS, which means highly qualified specialist.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you have a company here and you are one of the financial director of that company, and with some good and reasonable capital, and your wages or salary is up to like maybe 165,000 rubles every month. Yeah, you can apply for this HQS. So automatically you will have your permanent residence permit in Russia. Yeah, but if you're applying by marriage, you'll be given a booklet that you can live with for the rest of your life. Yeah. So one more thing to always take notes when you have this document is that it is very important to give reports. They call it notification to the immigration authority every 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Please take
another thing, yeah, and another thing is that if you have a temporary residence permit, you must not stay out of Russia for more than 6 months.
Okay.
But if there
Are you
is
guys
any,
noting?
yeah, but
You
if
must
there
not
is
stay out of
any,
Russia for more than 6 months.
yeah, but if there is any case, maybe situation that warrant you to stay out of Russia for more than 6 months, you must report to the embassy, to Russian embassy in that your country where you are
Country.
currently secret, yeah, where you are currently located. So it is very important to give annual reports
Okay.
of your
How about
immigration status.
if you have that the second type when you spoke about the one that doesn't need renewal, do you still have to give report after every 6 months?
Yes, you have to give report.
Ah,
The report will actually stop until you obtain your citizenship,
wow,
until
okay.
until you have the residence permit.
Okay. So
Yeah.
please can you clarify this? I heard or I overheard that when you have a temporary resident permit, you can't live or work in a different city from where you have the permit, where you obtain the permit rather. That it works on like a registration um system kind of.
Well, if you have residence permit, be it temporary or permanent, you can work anywhere in Russia.
Oh,
Yeah, you can work anywhere in Russia, and you can be registered to anywhere in Russia. Just immigration registration to notify them that you are currently living here. So, and even now, a student with just a visa can be officially employed. Yeah,
guys,
so if
you've
you,
heard it. You can be employed with a student visa as well.
yeah, officially, you don't have to maybe work unofficial. If you have a
Okay.
temporary or permanent residence permit, you can work anywhere in Russia. There is no restriction. So far, the
Okay.
jurisdiction is Russia, so you can work
Okay.
anywhere. Yeah,
So it means someone can, let's say, I don't know, I keep using Archangels because I just moved to Moscow.
it's
So I'm
okay.
saying like, so if let's say I assuming like I have TRP from Archangels, I have no problems living here in Moscow.
You don't have a problem living in Moscow. Yeah,
All right.
so far that you are registered in that place. Yeah.
All right. All right. So let me move on. Okay, so this person asked how to move when you don't want to be a student. So basically, you want to come to Russia, okay? You want to be
Okay.
legal, you on legal
Yeah.
grounds, but you don't want to be a student. You don't have any Russian relative, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you want to visit and you kind of need, okay, oh, you need a tourist visa as an EU citizen, something like that. I really did not get the question, but I don't know if.
Uh, okay. If I can actually
So basically,
understand
I
the
think how to
question
come to Russia on legal grounds without being a student.
without being a student, of course, there are ways to come to Russia without being
What
a
are the
student.
options?
Yeah, other options is maybe through a private invitation,
Okay.
or through a business visa or
Okay.
through a tourist visa. But right now, they are not issuing tourist visa anymore because
Okay.
of COVID restriction.
COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
right
there
now,
are,
actually, how can you come into Russia right now?
well, right now, if you want to come into Russia now, the most valid and possible way is through student.
Student visa.
Yeah. Even business visa, there are a lot of restrictions on them. Yeah.
So
But
you
we
have to
can
be
take care.
coming basically for a course or something for
You
you to
must be
be.
coming for a reason. Like what I said earlier, you must have a reason for coming to Russia. Your purpose must be well outlined. Yeah, so you must have a reason for coming into Russia. And basically, you can also come as a special person, maybe having the status of that HQS now.
Okay, highly qualified
Highly
specialist.
qualified specialist, which means you have a business here and you must really show up, to take care of your business in Russia, or maybe coming as a celebrity or coming for medical purpose.
Everybody should be celebrities now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, these are the valid ways. But just saying like maybe you want to come to Russia as just normal person for tourism, no. Even
Someone
shine,
asked,
even
how about working visa?
yeah, working visa is also possible.
Now?
The most
Now?
now it's not really possible, but it's
Tricky.
possible. Yeah, it depends on the organization that is, employing you,
Employing,
and
okay.
yeah, and the documents you're able to, tender.
Mm.
So, if you want to come into Russia through working visa, you can just contact us, and we will be the one to facilitate the process with your employer, so
Oh,
that there will
okay.
no yeah, so that there will not be any limitations when you are
Mm-hmm.
entering Russia. Because
Okay.
entering Russia, or maybe your plane is landing in Russia, does not mean you've entered Russia until you pass the passport
Yes, yes.
control.
Even as a student, I
Yeah,
noticed that, especially since the pandemic happened, there
exactly.
are a lot of rules now in place. Like your school
So,
has to do this, do that, let
so
immigration know, and all that
yeah,
stuff.
until you pass the passport control, you've not entered Russia.
Yeah.
And if you're coming through students, it's not all schools that are allowed to accept
Really?
students now. Yeah, not all schools. There are
Please, can you
some,
shed more light on that?
yeah, there are some major schools that are allowed to bring in students.
Okay.
Yeah, but some other schools are now trying to use these major schools to accept students. Maybe after arrival, they
Mm,
relocate their students.
okay.
And
Understand.
one of the some of the authorized schools are
Yeah, Reden.
Ruden. We have MIDI. We have Synergy. A lot of them like that. Like, I mean, big schools,
Big
recognized
schools,
schools.
yes,
Yeah,
recognized schools.
yeah.
That
That's
means most of them are in like Moscow, St. Petersburg, the bigger cities.
And and the student must be quarantined before entering, joining the society. At least
I
14 days.
think 14 days, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So business visa is possible.
Okay.
If you need a business visa, just contact us.
Contact
And
Braiden.
yeah, and we can help you out. That's
All
very sure.
right.
Yeah.
So this next question says, if a PhD student has completed his PhD in a Russian university, how can he apply for permanent residency?
Uh, like I said earlier, that is education.
Okay.
Yeah, and it depends on the results. I mean, the diploma that the person is holding. Though PhD
Okay.
students don't really have maybe red
Red
or
diploma.
yeah. So if this person have something we call ordinatura, maybe a medical student now, the person can apply for it. Yeah.
I'm doing that now.
So just try to finish with good grades. You can actually apply
Okay.
for residence permit. So if you don't have a solid legal ground, maybe you don't have this red diploma or a very high grade, the best thing to do is to apply through quota.
Okay.
This quota, the secret is that the more solid your legal ground is,
Yeah.
the more possibility
For
it is
you
that
to.
for you to have this document, because the immigration commission, they will have to see it and consider your situation in Russia.
Mm.
Let's say you have graduated in Russia now, unpaid education,
Sure.
yeah, and you graduated with maybe at least close to, you
A
know,
red diploma.
red
Very good
diploma,
results.
very good results, and you still have some other things that you are doing. Maybe you are employed but not officially.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, they will consider you and give you this thing, because they know that if they give
You
you
are an asset to them.
exactly, like, you have something you're doing in the country, you will not just be a vagabond or just jobless.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they have enough jobless citizens, so
Mm-hmm.
they won't really grant that if you don't have a good legal ground. So what you want to do in the country really matters. Yeah. And if you're a PhD student, you want to apply, contact Braiden Consulting. We'll help you out.
All right. So is it 100% guaranteed that you would get your PR or your temporary residency?
Um, on what ground, if I may ask?
I mean, like, if you apply, what are the chances of, getting it?
Well,
How so? Like, what's the process like, basically? Just a run through, like, what's the process like? How
okay,
many
the
months?
process.
What's the duration? What are the
Okay.
documents, yada,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff?
Mm-hmm. After the list of the documents needed for this PR, uh, some of the ones that I will really mention here now, like the most important one,
Okay,
is your police clearance certificate that
okay,
shows that you don't have any criminal record, and this will be sent from your home country.
okay.
Like if you're a Nigerian, it must be sent, from Nigeria. You must receive it
Okay.
from Nigeria, and your bank statement,
Okay.
uh,
How much should
your
be in your bank statement? Sorry.
well, the more money you have in your account, the better for you. But it should be
Okay.
it should be above like maybe 200,000 rubles.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, as in, when you're applying for TRP and as a student, do they expect you to have that much money?
Well, they don't want to know if you're a student or not.
Oh, okay.
At least you should have above 200,000 rubles in your
Mm,
account. Yeah, in your
okay.
account. Yeah.
Okay.
So, your medical test report, that shows that you
Okay.
don't have any HIV or any infectious disease, and your medical record also that shows that you are not really addicted to any form of
Drugs,
narcotics.
nicotine,
Yeah,
and the rest.
drugs. Exactly. So
HIV.
yeah, yeah. So, and also you need your passport, photograph, translated copy, and your migration card. If you're applying through marriage, you need your marriage certificate. If you're applying through your red diploma, you need your red diploma too. A lot of them notarize translation of your passport, like I said earlier. So, and another one of the important thing is that you must have a place
Okay.
where you will be registered.
That's a place of living.
Yeah, a place to be registered. Maybe if you're living in an apartment now, you must be registered in that apartment. If you're not the owner, your the owner of that apartment must accept, you
Mm.
know, that you should be registered there permanently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So after having all these documents now, then we file the application and submit to the immigration authority in Sakharova. I think it's like 50 kilometers away from Moscow here.
And
So
what's the word? I
can I
wanted to
quickly,
say.
sorry, can I quickly run through the process?
Yeah, finish
I'm
it.
almost at the end here.
Yeah, yeah.
So after submitting this your application down to the immigration, it will take them like once they accept the document and give you a sprav card, a reference card, that okay, we've accepted your document. It will take them like 4 months to review it and issue your PR to you, the permanent residence permit.
How
Yeah,
about TRP? Same thing.
the same thing applies to TRP too. Yeah, 4 months to review it. But once they accept it, 4 months. And if
Mm.
if they are not going to give you the document, maybe you have some mistakes in your
Document.
documents, or maybe you have some name error, which is very common to foreigners here. They will not accept it.
Mm.
But the moment they accept it, definitely there is 95%, no, 98% guaranteed that you're
You will
going to
get
have
it.
it. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Okay, so what I wanted to ask you then, we mentioned Moscow, like Sak, whatever that place is. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, how can people that are not in Moscow, can they work?
Mhm.
Can they get help from Braiden International?
Yes, yes, they can get help from us. It is either they come to Moscow to, process their documents, or we help them from distance, or we send our
A
lawyer to
representative.
them. Yeah, our lawyer to them in that their city to help them. Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
we can really help anybody. So far you're
Mm.
in Russia, anywhere in the world, Vapshe, we can help.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you are coming from Nigeria or like any country actually right now, okay,
Mhm.
what are the possibilities of what's the word, coming legally basically? I know there are lots of people that end up having to come, through some hanky panky ways, but I think that if people know how they can get through like legally, so you can also work with people like that.
Well, if you want to come from Nigeria now, or
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from Africa, we can help.
Okay.
We can help. It depends on what you are coming here to do.
Okay.
But the most the very best way to come to Russia now is through student visa.
Students.
Yeah, and we can help because we are also partner with some,
Schools.
universities.
All right.
Yeah, that can help us out.
Okay.
So
Okay. So someone asks, could your place of residence be your school hostel? You mentioned that you need a place to be permanently registered. upon your, upon the issuance of your document?
Yeah. So basically, the immigration inspector, we consider this thing if you are using hostel for registration. Firstly, they will consider your contract with that school, and
If
they
you're
need
on
to
scholarship.
confirm. Yeah, they need to, of course, even if you're on scholarship, you must
Okay.
have a contract with them.
Okay. When you
Yeah.
say contracts, we call people that pay contract students.
No, there are some contracts that don't involve money, just
Yeah,
an agreement. Yeah.
yeah.
So they will have to review your contract with them
Mm-hmm.
and also confirm that you are still a student there.
Mm-hmm.
So the registration will be issued according to the time frame of study in that school.
Okay.
Maybe if you still have like 3 more years to study in that school now,
Mm-hmm.
they will give you 3 years. But in some cases, in Russia, the immigration laws is not really stable.
Yeah,
And
it changes
yeah,
often.
yeah, and it varies from city by city. So uh, some inspectors might not even allow you to use, you know,
Students ahead.
university, yeah, or hostel. So they would prefer that you use maybe apartments, or preferably if you are the owner of the apartment, that would be the
Mm.
best. Yeah.
So
So using student hostel is not, it's 50-50.
it's 50/50.
Yeah.
Okay. So like how do you go about the how was the word getting the registration? Does Braiden have that and offer that as a service as well? I mean, like how to get your permanent registration after you've obtained your document.
Um, well, it depends on which, is it registration for this PR and
Oh
TRP?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about for PR TRP.
Of course, if you have a place where you can be registered, we can help you get it.
Okay.
Yeah, because whatever we do in Braiden Consulting is absolutely legal, and we don't offer illegal service. Maybe
Okay.
trying to buy a place for you, no.
Mhm.
But if you have a place where you can be registered, we can help you, to execute the registration and give it to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me check the other questions that I have.
Please feel free to ask questions in the comment section, okay? I can see some people asking question here like, could your place of residence be your school? Okay, you okay.
Sorry, is it your phone that is ringing?
Not mine. I don't have any phone ringing here.
Here. Okay, 1 second.
Somebody
Okay,
is
so
asking, okay.
next question. Who can, get a permanent resident permit?
Okay. Having this permanent residence permit, which is Vietnam testible,
Yeah.
it depends. Everybody can have it, but it depends on the legal ground. Firstly, let's start with the majority of our viewers here. Maybe most of them are
Students.
students. Yeah. So if you're a student and you have a res diploma, you are eligible to have the VNJ, the permanent residence permit. Another one is if you have a child in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if you have a marriage and you have a child, even if you don't have a marriage, but you have a child with a Russian citizen, so you are eligible. That's your child. You can
Even
apply
if you're
for
not
the.
married to the person.
Yeah, even if you're not married, but it would be very much better if
Better.
you're married. Yeah, if you're married. But in some cases, childbirth do occur without marriage. Yeah. So if you have a Russian kid, if you have the status of HQS, highly qualified specialist, if you have a ref diploma, what other ways? If you are officially employed in Russia and you have been working for over 6 months,
Really?
but yeah, it
Hmm.
depends on which profession. There
Okay.
are a list of professions that are allowed to get it. The most popular one is being an English teacher.
Really?
Yeah. If
Hmm.
you're officially employed in Russia as an English teacher and you've been working for over 6 months and
Mm-hmm.
your employer is fully registered and accredited, good, you can apply for this residence permit. Permanent one.
Based on that.
Yeah. If you're an engineer, there are over 135 professions that are allowed. The engineers, doctors, a lot of them. I can just ask questions, then I will send you the list of the professions. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but please take notes. People that works in Burger King, KFC, or car wash, they are not.
No.
Yeah, they are not allowed
Okay.
because they are not recognized profession in the law. Yeah, but if
Oh.
you are officially employed, I mean, you sign an agreement with your employer,
Regardless of
then
the agreement, so let's say, I'm sorry to cut you. Let's say, for example, let's say your agreement is a wage, right? So like on an hourly basis, that's how you work with your employer. But on
yeah.
their record, you are registered. Sorry, you are on contract as it is a tutor rather under them. Do you also qualify?
Well, the government, the immigration authority will not really look into that.
Mm-hmm.
What they want to see is if you are officially employed,
Okay.
like you have a contract with them, and there is this thing we call workbook.
Okay.
Yeah, you must also have it. If you're officially employed in Russia, you must have your workbook. They call it Trudovaya Knižka. You should also have that. So, you said if somebody is employed as a teacher but working
Yes.
as
You know,
another
many
thing, right?
many people like students, okay, like they
Yeah.
do like they work wagely. So when I say they work on wages, so like hourly. So let's say like they pay them per hour. It doesn't matter. Does it have to
Well,
be a full-time job as an English tutor? That's the question.
according to the law, there are payment structures are actually recognized through maybe wages or salary,
Okay.
which means monthly or weekly or maybe hourly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not matter. Your
Okay.
payments does not really matter.
Okay.
The most important thing is you must have a contract and your employer must be paying tax. Yeah.
You see, I laughed because I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Though
no,
though
okay, noted.
the way I'm saying it, it might be it sounds very easy, but the process is not really easy.
Yeah.
If you come to us now, we will have to talk to your employer, then help your employer to obtain some license now.
Mm.
It's actually we can do it. You understand? To get some license to, make you apply for that HQS.
Mm-hmm.
So that sorry, the residence permit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it works.
All right.
Your payment structure does not matter.
All right.
What matters is you're officially employed.
Thank you. That was very
Yeah.
insightful. So the next, I just want us to go over like the major things we've talked about who can obtain now. So what
Yeah.
documents, is required?
Uh,
Required
to
documents.
for which one? The permanent residence permit,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Like I explained earlier, it's still the same document for TRP, but it depends on which grant are you applying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if you're applying through your profession now, like you've been working for over 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
If you're applying through your profession, we need your, contract.
Okay.
Also, your employer too must have some ID, which we are going
Okay.
to help your employer to obtain. And
Mm-hmm.
another one is that police clearance certificate is
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
Fully notarized, translated and notarized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Russia here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your medical test reports, the HIV, the narcotics, the diseases that you don't have any infection in your body, and your notarized passports, uh, certificate of non-criminal record, which I've mentioned earlier. So these are the most important documents. So if you're applying through your child, maybe your child is a Russian citizen, you will need this thing,
By
the
birth.
birth, yeah, you will need the birth certificate. Birth certificate. If you're married, you provide your marriage certificate and registration too. They call that registration spravka novosim. The registration that shows that you are the father and you're all living together as a family
Okay.
in the region. Yeah. Another one is свидетельство о отцовстве, like the certificate of paternity
Okay.
that proves that you are the father. Your name can either be mentioned in the birth certificate or in this certificate of paternity.
Okay.
Yeah. So the list of the documents depends on which ground are you applying through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the most common one that applies to any ground is the police clearance certificate,
Mm-hmm.
your medical test report, and proof of funds in your account. I mean, your bank statement, which you must have over 200,000 rubles in your bank.
Okay.
But take note, the more money you have, the
better for you.
the better for you. Yeah.
So, where do you apply for a permanent resident permit, and what are the difficulties you probably face doing that? Like you said, it's not as easy as you are saying it.
Yeah.
So how to go about it?
So, the most common one is that if you check it out now today in Russia, you will see like so many people they have these legal grounds and they still don't have the document.
Okay.
So the assignment of these immigration officers in Zakharova is not to give you at all. You know, they want to share. Yeah, you see, they want to review your document and see just to find one mistake from it that no, this is not correct. This is not correct. This stamp should be on top. This one should be at the back. You know, all those little errors. They want to bring it out and decline your application at that moment. So that's why it is very important for you to, have professionals to handle your documents. We have several cases of, okay, there used to be a Nigerian living in Russia here for over 11 years with kids, and he tried to apply several times. They declined him. They have been declining every time. So the moment this guy came to our office, he was saying like, oh, they are going to reject it. We assured him that no, they won't reject you. Well, on the first day of submission, they rejected this application. So
They've seen the name and they're like,
yeah. So this is where a law firm comes in.
Okay.
We now apply through court. Like we actually solve the situation through court order.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's very important that whatever you are doing, make sure that a lawyer or law firm is involved in it. So through the court decision, this client actually submitted his documents and
he got it.
they are certain. Yeah. There are so many other cases like that, but I don't think we really have much time to review cases now.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, so far you've come to Braiden Consulting and you have legal ground, you have what it takes, we can help you out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, someone is asking to talk about police clearance certificates, translation and legalization. I don't know what that is about. You mentioned police reports, something from your home.
It's also it's also the police report. Yeah, the police clearance certificate that shows that you have no criminal record in your home country and even in Russia too. So you can apply for that through your embassy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or you apply directly to the police department in your country. There is this form you have to send to them, your biometrics.
Okay.
I mean, your fingerprint, you send it to them. Yeah, so that is what they are going to use to process this certificate and send it down to you here in Russia. So the moment you receive it here in Russia, take it to your embassy. Your embassy will change it to a certificate for you. Because this document will come in form of booklets from your country. The moment you have it, take it to your embassy. They will change it to a very thick certificate for you. Then after having it from your embassy, you take it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for certification. So they will put their stamp on it to certify that yes, this is legit and you truly don't have any criminal record. So that's it.
Okay, someone is asking, we've talked about the needing a lawyer and why you need a law firm. So she's asking, what's the role of a lawyer in this? Like, she's asking for clarification. How Braiden, consultancy comes in, what's the...
Well, firstly, good filing. You need professionals to file your document. And like I said earlier, the immigration authority, they don't want to give you this document. So if you have your documents complete, your files are complete, and they still reject you, a good lawyer can apply through courts for you, and they will have no other reason to accept it. And another thing is, if you go there in person, like just by yourself, without a lawyer beside you, they will not really give you the full recognition that you need, the full attention. Yeah. Sometimes maybe the inspector is tired or according to his own emotion, he might try to play on your right.
Yeah.
So when such infringements want to happen, you have a lawyer beside you, to tackle that. And another thing is, most of these foreigners don't really understand Russian language.
That's a major
Yeah,
one. I was waiting for
and
you to say that.
yeah, there is no how long you've lived in Russia. You can really never understand this language perfectly.
Especially documentation.
When it comes to documentation, sometimes you might be forced to sign some documents you are not supposed to sign.
Yeah.
There is a case like that also, a client that signed some, erroneous documents, and it was declined because he signed a wrong document. So when you have a professional, I mean a lawyer, a jurist with
Yes.
you, such person will guide you through all the process and tell you what to do and what not to do.
Thank you. That was really insightful. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know there is this issue of deportation. Okay, so many people, they either find out that maybe their visa expired with them,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they probably came here illegally and they are trying to legalize their status. How can that be resolved?
Okay. Before there used to be presidential decree. During this pandemic, the president issued a decree
Yeah.
that allowed all foreigners to legalize their status.
Yes.
If you've checked our pages too, you will see some of the videos there where I talk about legalization. But the unfortunate situation is that this thing was only valid till 30th of September.
Yeah.
So from the 1st of October, anybody that is illegal in Russia now
Stand
is prone
deportation.
for deportation. Yeah, but we can legalize your status if you have these grounds. Firstly, if you have what you are doing in Russia legally, for instance, if you have a business. But the most important one is if you're married in Russia, we can get you a court order without deportation. Second one is if you maybe have a child in Russia here, we can also help you get court decision without deportation. But if you have none of this ground, like if you don't have any of this ground, we can still also help you. As a law firm, we can help you create some reasonable grounds before the courts and present it to the courts for the judge to consider. So it is possible for us to legalize your status in Russia. We can still do it for you.
All
Yeah.
right. So, we are running out of time. What's the last question I want to ask? Yes, I know many people are, like you said, many of us can start from TRP, okay, through the quota.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how do you go about that? How do you get temporary residency through quota?
Okay. You see, quota, temporary residence permit, they are kind of two different things.
Okay.
Yeah, quota is just like the gateway to having temporary residence permit. Okay, we are going to file your application. Get your application, then send some letters to some necessary ministries in Russia here. Your applications involve the application for quota, which you can get from their website, your registration, your visas, to prove your stay in
Legal.
Russia so far. Yeah. And if you have any other thing that you are doing in Russia, maybe you have a business or you're married or anything, we can also add that to it. So we will submit it to either in Sakharova or to the nearest immigration department in your area where you're registered. So that is where they're going to consider your application for like 2 weeks. And after these 2 weeks, your names will come out. If you're fortunate enough to have your name among the list, then you can now apply, then package your documents again for temporary residence permits. So when you have a quota, it shows that okay, now you can apply for a temporary
Like, you
residence
have a
permit.
space, basically.
Yeah, yeah. They are trying to create a legal grant for you through that quota because you can't obtain any of these documents without a reasonable ground. Yeah.
Thank you very
And
much.
if you want to do this quota too, it's quite very cheap. You can just contact us. We'll help you out, okay?
All right. Okay, so yeah, lastly, how exactly can people, get legal services through Braiden consultancy?
Sorry, come again, please.
I said, how can people, like, how can we work with Braiden consultancy? So like, what's the process? Do we have a consultation? Are there service charges? Something,
Yeah, of course. Firstly, if you're a client, you have a one-time free consultation.
Okay.
A one-time free consultation. And so that one-time free consultation, you must be able to establish a contract with us or establish a reasonable deal with us. But if you're coming for second consultation without anything, it will be charged
Okay.
because our lawyers are always busy. So it won't be nice to just be talking without action. But of course, we can work with you if you have the legal grant, and we can also help you establish a legal grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the service
And
fees, you get that after the consultation. I think what you're trying to say is that it's based on your situation, based on the weather and all that.
exactly. Talking about fees, I can't really talk about fees here because I don't know the problem that the person is
Yeah.
having,
Okay.
So everything depends on your situation. Once we discuss it and we will outline the process for you. You don't pay to us at once, you pay according to the progress of your work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any more questions? And I'll be ending this soon. So yes, you guys have heard from Daniel. Daniel really spoke a lot. Like, this was so insightful.
Sorry, I can see one question here.
Okay.
How do a Nigerian student get a job, and what jobs are available for
Okay.
Nigerian students? Well, jobs are available everywhere. You just have to search.
Yeah.
And if I can help you, you can search. You can actually apply for jobs through Headhunter,
Yes,
the
HH.
HH.true, the Profit.true, Yandex, Rabota. There are so many
Avito.
websites.
Yeah, I actually have a
Avito.
video on my channel talking about this. Whoever is asking, please go to my channel. I have a video on how to make money as a student in Russia.
Yeah.
All
So,
these
but
applications are there.
yeah, but the most important thing is if you know that you want to get a job so that you can obtain a temporary or permanent residence permit, make sure the job is official. And it must be among the authorized professions in Russia, like English teaching jobs or engineering, being a doctor,
IT.
IT, or but not as maybe Burger King worker or anything. No, even no, wait. Even if you have to work in Burger King, it must be official, and you must be in position of maybe a manager or director
Not as
of
a cleaner.
finance. Not as a cleaner, no. So basically, that's it. Make sure your job is official. Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that we'll bring this to a close soon. If you don't have any more questions. So you've heard from Daniel, as I was saying earlier. Daniel has brought so much insight. I mean, you've answered many questions that I had personally. You've answered questions that people have, on how to get their temporary residency, permanent residency, legalize your status, avoid deportation. And like you guys have heard, you are going to be giving a free consultation under Braiden consultancy. Like, just go over and start with whatever legal grants you have, and then for your service fee, that's determined, based on the situation that you
Progress.
are and what you would like to get. So yes, guys, Braiden International has been nice enough to offer my audience, you guys, a 10% discount off on the legal services that you like to get from them. So you can use my code JoyceBusola10. I'm going to pin it here. Joyce Busola 10.
Yeah, let me take note of that too. Joyce Busola 10, right?
Yes, Joyce Busola 10. And you will get a 10%. Okay, I pinned it. Yes.
Right.
And you get a 10% off your service charge. So thank you so much, Daniel. I look forward to having more conversations, answering more questions. And you guys, I'm going to save this video. So the replay is going to be available here, and I'm also going to upload it on my YouTube channel. If you have any more questions, just go directly to Braiden International. I'm going to leave their handle under this post after this video has been saved. So you can go directly to them and get all your immigration issues solved in Russia. All right. Sure. All right, guys. Bye.
Thanks for having me, Busola. Okay.
Thank you, Daniel, for coming over.
All right.
Baka.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye.